Hello, dear viewers. Namaskar. Welcome to Moksha Media. You are with Moksha Hiremat. I am saddened because of the passing away of dear and near ones. I know them since many years. I have a contact with them also. When I come to know the passing away of Champa, that is Chandrasekhar Patil, I was saddened a lot. I felt that I have lost someone who was very dear to the persons in the social activities and literary movements. Chandrasekhar Patil had some unique characteristics. He was a poet, playwright, actor, journalist, and more than that, he was a social and literary activist. I was a student of Chandrasekhar Patil. He taught me English language and literature in MA at the university at Karnataka University, Dharwad, India. We waited for his classes, especially myself and Gudihalli Nagaraj did not miss his classes. His classes were lively and lovely. He brought the truth home to the students very nicely and properly without any prejudice. Chandrasekhar Patil was born on 18th June 1939 and died on 10th January 2022. He completed 82 years and running in 83 years. In the span of this period, he did many things which are memorable even today and in future also. Chandrasekhar Patil was born. He was a native of Hattimattur in Saunur Taluk of Haveri district in Karnataka. When he was born, it was in undivided district of Dharwad, Karnataka. He came from a village but he did not use his village for his gains and other things. He liked and loved his village very much. He brought name and fame to his village and to his state and to the literary field. Chandrasekhar Patil might have passed away, but Champa is remained with us. Champa is the pen name of Chandrasekhar Patil. Physically, Chandrasekhar Patil might not have been with us, but his pen name and his writings and activities with his pen name are with us. Chandrasekhar Patil was a professor of English at Karnataka University. He was a good professor. He was expert in linguistics and he could pronounce the English words which could not be pronounced by others very properly. Chandrasekhar Patil went to Leeds in London for the course of linguistics and joined Karnataka University as the professor of English. Of course, I am lucky enough to have professors like Chandrasekhar Patil at Karnataka University and K.S. Naranachar at Karnataka College, the professor of English language and literature. These two personalities had their differences. Of course, differences are common, but even those with these differences, they had a same goal, the goal of costless and harmonious life of the people. Their ways may be different, that is common. Chandrasekhar Patil was a leftist. He was left-oriented. He fought against injustice in his own way. Chandrasekhar Patil started his career as a poet in 1916 and he brought out an anthology of poems entitled Banuli. His anthologies are Banuli, 19 poems, Hoovu Hannu ತಾರೆ, and Ardha Satyada Hudigi. This Ardha Satyada Hudigi got the Karnataka Sahitya Academy Award. Chandrasekhar Patil was also a playwright. He was an observed dramatist. Absurdity was a form of drama in English literature at that time. Champa brought it to Kannada literature by writing plays in Kannada. His plays are Kodegalu, Appa, Kunta Kunta Kuruvatti, Tingara Buddanna, Gokarnada Gaudashani, and Jagadambeya Bidi Nataka. He was not only a playwright, but he was an actor on the stage. He was also a journalist. He brought out a literary journal, Sankramana. He started it with his two friends, in 1964. Chandrasekhar Patil, Gireddy Govindaraj, and Siddhalinga Pattana Shetty brought out this Sankramana in the beginning. Chandrasekhar Patil and Gireddy Govindaraj were professors of English, whereas Siddhalinga Pattana Shetty was a professor of Hindi at Karnataka College, Dharwad. Due to differences with Chandrasekhar Patil, Gireddy Govindaraj and Siddhalinga Pattana Shetty parted away with him from the journalism. Then onwards, Chandrasekhar Patil brought out Sankramana, the monthly literary journal, for round about 53 years single-handedly. Of course, no one in Kannada literature or in literary field of Kannada brought out a literary journal of this nature for a long time except Champa, that is Chandrasekhar Patil. Chandrasekhar Patil was a staunch activist. His literary achievements are shadowed by his activism. Wherever there is a movement, whether it is social or literary, against the establishment, there is Chandrasekhar Patil, there is Champa. In those moments, Champa participated, putting a scarf round his neck and holding pamphlets in the hands. Chandrasekhar Patil, that is Champa, was a key figure in the Gokak agitation. Regarding the importance of Kannada language, Gokak went to Dharwad to collect the opinion of the people regarding the nature of Kannada and Sanskrit. Patil and his friends and others were protested against this with the words, "Go back Gokak, go back Gokak." Chandrasekhar did not hesitate to protest against Vikru Gokak, even though Vikru Gokak was his guru who taught him English language and literature at Karnataka College, Dharwad. If Patil felt it is injustice, he did not hesitate to protest against anyone regarding those things. Therefore, most of the people identify Chandrasekhar Patil with socio-political, economic, religious, cultural, and literary activities and movements. He was a key figure in Gokak movement and he played a key role in bringing matinee idol Rajkumar into the Gokak movement. He convinced Rajkumar the importance of the movement. Rajkumar was yielded to his convince. Then he got into the Gokak movement and it gave a great fillip to the Gokak movement. Chandrasekhar Patil was also a key figure in Bandaya Sahitya Chalavali, in Bandaya movement. a socio-cultural literary movement against the establishment. And Patil's nature is different from others. He protested against the emergency declared in 1975 by Indira Gandhi, the then Prime Minister of India. He was arrested for his play Jagadambeya Bidi Nataka, which caricatured the emergency of that time. He was arrested and kept in jail for 2 years, I think. Chandrasekhar Patil was the only literary figure who was arrested at the time of emergency. Other anti-establishment literary figures were not arrested. Your Anantamurthy was not arrested. Lankesh was not arrested. Purnachandra Tejasvi was not arrested. And persons like them were not arrested, except Champa, that is Chandrasekhar Patil. Champa was outright in his expression of thoughts and feelings. If he felt that it was injustice, he expressed it then and there only, without the hesitation. He expressed it face to face. He did not hesitate to use any words for that protest. He was committed to his thoughts and feelings, but not to the feelings of others at that moment. He was very critical in his expressions. His language was acerbic, with the employment of irony. That's why so many public figures and others afraid of his criticism. Sometimes they were afraid to go very near to him also. But Chandrasekhar Patil was a different man. He might be a piercing critic in his expressions, but he was very friendly in his heart. He forgot that criticism then and there only, and became friendly with his enemies and others the next moment. That was the personality of Champa. That was the personality of Chandrasekhar Patil. Chandrasekhar Patil did a lot for the development of Kannada language and literature. He was the president of Kannada Sahitya Parishattu. He was the chairman of Kannada Development Authority. He was also the president of 83rd Kannada Sahitya Sammelana held at Mysore in Karnataka, India. Even his strong critics, even his enemies of his ideology were friendly with him. Of course, Purnachandra Tejasvi, U.R. Anantamurthy, P. Lankesh, Chandrasekhar Kambar, Gireddy Govindaraj, Siddhalinga Pattanashetty, and A.K. Ramanujan were his contemporaries. He had a good relationship with all of them, even he differed with them regarding some of the things. But anyhow, he identified himself as an activist more than the literary writer. But his literary writings could not be neglected. His literary writings have its own sayings, have its own thoughts. Especially, he traced the new generation poets and writers, and he published their writings in his literary journal Sankramana, and he supported them and brought them forward literary in the literary field. He identified such young generation and supported them. So many young writers had come on the stage due to Sankramana and due to his support. Chandrasekhar Patil was a journalist in the hardcore sense. He maintained that literary journals years together, which is not that much of easy for a person. He maintained it single-handedly. That shows his achievement. That shows his ability and capacity, to what extent he had that potentiality. Chandrasekhar Patil was a friendly one. Due to age-related complications, he has departed us. So, I condole the demise of Chandrasekhar Patil, that is Champa. It is my Nudi Namana to my Professor Chandrasekhar Patil and others. Of course, Chandrasekhar Patil also wrote in English his two works, that is poems and plays, and at the other end are works in English. Poems and plays have been translated into English of his own, and at the other end is the anthology of poems composed by him, and translated some of his poems in that anthology. He was an outright person. He tried his effortlessly, and became one with the common people and others. Some others were hesitated to join the movement, but he didn't have that hesitation. Even he sat on the ground and protested against the injustice. He became the voice of voiceless. He was a strong critic of Brahminism and divisive casteism and communalism. He was the follower of Ram Manohar Lohia, a political personality at that time. He was a lover of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, that is Mahatma Gandhi, and he was a follower of Mahatma Gandhi in many ways. His outlook might be modern, but his approach to it is very traditional. That is what I feel. Chandrasekhar Patil and K.S. Naranachar are different persons. One is modern in his outlook, and another one is traditional. One protests against the caste without any mark on his forehead. Other did not like casteism, even a sacred caste mark on his forehead. Both of them are literary figures. K.S. Naranachar was a scholar on Veda. He had a scholarly activities. He was confined to scholarly activities. Only persons who read his writings could come to know K.S. Naranachar. But Chandrasekhar Patil was a different one. He was not only a literary figure, but an activist. That activism brought him very near and dear to the hearts and life of the common people throughout Karnataka, throughout India. That's why so many persons loved and liked Chandrasekhar Patil. But K.S. Naranachar was a scholarly one. He was a great scholar, no doubt about it. He was also committed to teaching of English language and literature. I am very proud to be was his student at Karnataka College. His classes were not missed. Even I differed with him in some cases at that time, but I have a great respect for him even today. Of course, the people of Karnataka do not understand him properly. He does not get the respect he is worth to have it. Of course, due to the development, due to the cultural differences and so many other things, the people of Kannada, the people of Karnataka have not understood him properly. But his scholarly contributions could not be neglected. That is what I feel. That K.S. Naranachar was also a nationalist, no doubt about it. He might be his own ideas. It might be traditional, but not against the people. We have lost another folklore singer, that is Basolingaya Hiremat. He had a lot of folk songs. He could sing those folk songs as if happened at that time itself. He was a great singer. He was died on 9th January 2022, whereas Champa Chandrasekhar Patil passed away on 10th January 2022. Another person here I have to remember Mr. Gudihalli Nagaraj. Of course, he was a friend of mine. He was also a journalist. I joined as a professor of English, but he joined as a reporter in Prajavani. Due to differences, I parted with him, but I have a great love for him even with that difference. I have not met him for so many years. I introduced him to the left movements in the beginning, but as the time goes on and on, the lifestyle which is very near to the licentious life, which I don't like. So I parted with so many persons of that type. Gureli wrote a preface to my first work, Alo Varga and Shikshana Paddhati. He was a good friend of mine. I lost him, but the feelings with him cannot be lost, even with those differences. I have lost all these dear ones in the time span of 3-4 months. So, the end of 2021 and the beginning of 2022 is not that much of good for us, as we lost these dear and near ones. They contributed in their own ways. Of course, they are models in their own ways to the younger generation. Chandrasekhar Patil was a recipient of Pampa Prasasti, Pampa Award, a great literary award in Karnataka. But he did not care for the award when the researcher, great scholar, Kannada scholar M. Kalburgi was assassinated. Champa and persons and writers like that returned their awards to the government to protest against the attitude of the government. Of course, M. Kalburgi was also a friend of Chandrasekhar Patil. So, Chandrasekhar Patil had shown a way to us. Chandrasekhar Patil might have been passed away, but not the Champa. That is what I have felt. Anyhow, I condole the demise of all these dear and near ones. Physically, they are not with us. But in one way or another way, their memories cannot be parted with us. Because they are the men of commoners and gone beyond the commoners. So they become persons of importance for our life, for our lifestyle also. So once again, I condole the passing away of these persons Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.